Happy Sunday, writers. It is indeed Sunday, not Saturday. Video's coming out a little bit late. It's been a crazy week. Adopted a puppy recently, and they take up a lot of time. So that's also led to me having to put off my Last of Us Part 2 review. It is still coming. It's in the works. I just haven't really had the time to put into something quite that in-depth with the amount of editing that goes into that kind of thing. But it will happen. So instead, I'm doing another editor unedited episode, and this time I'm going to talk about the worst book I've ever read. With the caveat that I am discluding any self-published works that I have read segments of, because I don't feel like that's fair to bring those into the fold of best book versus worst book, because self-published books often do not get the help they need from editors. So here it is, hot take. I absolutely hated The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. This is the part where some of you are going to be like, oh man, yeah, I hated it too. And others are going to be like, what is wrong with you? It's critically acclaimed. It was made into a film with Daniel Craig. Yes, it was. It is. And a lot of people do like it. I am not one of those people, and I'll support it with why. But first, a little bit about it for those of you who are unfamiliar with the work or have just kind of heard it in passing. So this was written by a Swedish author named Carl Stjeglarsson. I'm probably pronouncing that name incorrectly. So he was a Swedish writer, journalist, and activist. The work was published posthumously. So I cannot speak to any of Larsson's other works of literature, of writing, and it's quite possible that those other works were really good. And I should explain that it's not that all the writing in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is bad, it's that it's bad for a book. So as I said, he was a journalist. Journalists have a different style of writing, typically, than book authors, especially fictional book authors. And The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is a work of fiction. And I believe that the way that we write fiction should differ quite a bit from the way that we write nonfiction, articles, blogs. You get it. So if The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo was just a series of editorials, a series of magazine articles, then I think it would have been perfectly fine. Because that is the style of writing that is in the book. It's a journalistic style. It's like reading newspaper articles or very informative blog posts. But when you're reading a book, typically that's not what you're really looking for. You're looking for a diversion. You're looking to be pulled into the world. You're looking to get invested in the characters. You want to experience what they're experiencing, and I didn't get any of that from this book. In fact, I should put a disclaimer here. I didn't finish it. I don't like to start books and not finish them, but this one was so bad that I couldn't finish it. And I tried it in audiobook format too. I tried both reading it and listening to it. And I could not do either all the way through. It was terribly vexing. It's very dense. Now, dense can be okay. I mean, when we think of things like Lord of the Rings, those books are quite dense. You know, go on about the Shire for like 10 pages before you really get to know anything about the characters, the story, etc. But this is just the ultimate info dump, and it's not even done in an interesting way. It's these heavy monologues by characters that you haven't even become invested in yet. And it's the ultimate example of telling instead of showing. Now, to the author's credit, this had the potential to be a really great story because of the plot points behind it. There were a lot of heavy topics being covered in it, and rape and abuse and murder and all kinds of stuff like that. And it did have interesting plot points. There is like a murder mystery kind of underneath the whole thing going on, and characters that definitely had the potential to be interesting. Now, I haven't seen the film, so maybe the film is able to take what was great about it and make it so much better. You know, sometimes film adaptations just work better for that kind of story, although I'd say usually the books are better than the film, but, you know, sometimes it's the opposite. So I don't know if the film is good or not. I should probably watch it and see, oh, actually the story is interesting and this did a good job with it. But as far as the book goes, I got 100 pages in and I just couldn't take it anymore. It went against everything that I have been taught and have taught others throughout my years as a writer. You don't want to overload your readers in the first 100 pages with just info dump after info dump after info dump, to the point where they forgot half of what they read, for one thing, and also they haven't become invested in the characters yet. I didn't give two shits about Bloomquist because I didn't know enough about him. There was just all this jumbled information about this person that was related to this person, and this person was trying to get a promotion, and this person was having an affair with this person, and this person was staying in some cottage, or I might have that a little mixed up, staying somewhere in a Swedish town to do some research. Honestly, I can't even remember most of what I read from it because it was so dense and so uninteresting. It just did not pique my interest whatsoever. There were little pieces here and there where they would talk about the girl, and I can't remember her name right now, but the one with the dragon tattoo, the main character, and some of her experiences, and I'm like, okay, her backstory is interesting. She has like a really troubled past. I'd like to know more about her, but the way that you're presenting the information just, it's losing me. It's losing my focus. I'm getting distracted from what really matters. I'm getting distracted from the big plot points. I'm getting distracted from the characters. I'm getting distracted from the characters' relationships. I think there was only one scene I read, which was a pretty brutal scene. I'm pretty sure it was the rape scene, where I was like, oh, that was actually well written. Which is kind of a cruel irony that the one scene that was written kind of appropriately for fiction was the one of the more graphic ones. That's really the only thing that stands out to me. And like I said, I tried audiobook too. I thought, okay, maybe this is just too much in text. But if I listen to it, if I try to absorb it auditorily, maybe it will start to make more sense. Nope. Made even less sense. It totally lost me. There was a scene, this is where I stopped. It was a scene where an older gentleman was talking to Bloomquist and just going on and on and on and on and on. Just this absolute diatribe info dump. I don't even remember what it was about, because after listening to it for about, 20 minutes, I was like, what did he just say? I have no clue. I don't care. I don't care anymore because I've been listening to you for 20 minutes and none of it has been interesting. So, yeah, that's my hot take on Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. I absolutely hated every moment of reading it, hated every moment of listening to it, hence only getting 100 pages in. You as a writer certainly have the right to enjoy that work, to appreciate the good qualities that it does have. But I would also caution you as a writer to not fall into that trap, to not be the writer that takes 50 pages to explain family lineage, or to forget to put dialogue in between, pieces of information, to do info dumps for 5+ pages. I mean, really, I wouldn't recommend doing info dumps at all unless it's really necessary. You want your information to come about organically. I guess that's all that I can really say on it, because if I keep going, I'm going to get cyclical with it, because the book makes me very upset talking about it. I really dislike it so strongly that it actually gets me upset to talk about it, because I think it is so badly done, and yet it's critically acclaimed. And I know other authors who are really good and never got to critical acclaim. I know authors that are really good and have only had little pieces of work published, never like a full-on book. So to know people like that with great potential and then read something like that that's been critically acclaimed and made to a film gets you a little upset. So let me know what you think. Did you read the book? And if you did you like it? Did you just think, it was okay? Did you close to hate it like I did? Let me know in the comments below. So next time, hopefully there will be another video game review coming out. Fingers crossed. I'm going to try to make time for it, but if not, I will find more topics to bring to you guys, so at least you're getting some kind of content drop every week. Until next time.